I'm Gabby.
And I'm Shanna.
And we're 27 Travels.
And this video is going to Santorini worth it?
If you cannot tell, we are in Santorini right now, and this is an island that we have heard so much about. We were like, we need to come and see if this is going to be one of our favorite places.
Yeah, Gabby and I tend to not like places that are overhyped, and Santorini is definitely one of those places that literally everyone tells you that you need to go to. So I feel like we kind of avoided it for a long time because we were like, oh, you know, like, do we really want to go there? Are we really going to like it? But we came back to Greece this year for a wedding, a family wedding. So if you haven't watched our Milos video, make sure you go back and watch that right now. But we're going to kind of walk around for the next 2 days and see if we think Santorini is actually worth it after being to like 4 Greek islands at this point.
Yeah, we've been to a lot at this point, so we have a lot to compare to. But since we were in Milos, Santorini is not that far from Milos, so it was one of the islands that we could come to as like a day trip a few days after. So that's what we're doing, and we just can't wait to see.
So I kind of feel like already, I mean, the views here are absolutely insane. Like, just look what's behind Gabby right now. Like, in a lot of the other islands we've been to, like, we did not get views like this. So far, I'm gonna give it a point for that. We're gonna find some food.
Yeah, we immediately need food.
One thing we will say so far is that it's around 1 p.m. now and the streets are like super crowded. Like, it feels like we're walking in New York City. Like, that's how crowded these narrow Greek streets are in Santorini.
Because they're so narrow that like all of that congestion means that you're like stuck up to people next like this.
Which we're used to because we're from New York, but I do kind of get why people always say it's like very touristy, because there are clearly a lot of tourists here, especially in this area we're in, which is called Ia. It's like where if you are thinking of Santorini, you're thinking of this area. It's like the most photographed area, basically.
Yeah,
but
it's also where everybody comes to watch the sunset.
So we're gonna probably do that later. So obviously we changed. We were able to check into our hotel, and this hotel is absolutely amazing. Like, we kind of booked it like last minute, but not super last minute, like a month before we were coming here, because we were still trying to figure out like what plan we wanted to do. So it's called Laukasi Villas, and it's basically right on the outside of Ia, and it's perfect because we can still walk to everything that we like want to do and see, but it's also not like right in the center of town. We kind of have to go up and down like a bunch of like stairways or hills or anything.
Yeah, it's also super nice. Like the actual like room we're staying in is so nice. It's like 2 floors. It was like way more affordable, I think, than other stuff that Shanna looked up in like the same area.
Yeah,
and, like,
for sure.
We're near everything, so it's amazing to be like this close to the neighborhood that you want to be in. So epic. We're actually only staying here tonight, but Shanna and I just spent literally 3 hours falling asleep by the pool, and it was so freaking relaxing. It was just amazing. I would definitely stay here.
I'm gonna show you guys our like room view, because you can literally see the pool from our window. Like, look at that. That's where we were sitting on those 2 chairs right there and chilling by the pool. And this is like the layout of the room. Ignore all of our shiz on the floor, but like the front door is behind me. You walk in, there's like stairs up here, there's like a bigger bed up there and a smaller bed here, and then obviously the bathroom there.
Yeah,
so,
and also a balcony.
Also a balcony as well. So you could like have like 3 people here for sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, so now it's about like 6:30 p.m. So we're gonna head back into like the town area of Ia, because everyone apparently watches the sunset from like this place called Ia Castle, which is no longer a castle because I think like an earthquake happened and it like got destroyed, but there's still like ruins of a castle there. And apparently the sunsets in Santorini are amazing, and everyone watches them from this castle. So I feel like we have to do what everyone tells us is amazing and go check it out.
Yeah, like every time we meet someone who's from Greece or has been to Santorini, they're like, the best sunsets ever. You have to go watch the sunsets. So Shanna and I are like, every time we go to an island, the sunsets are amazing. So like, is this one gonna blow us away? Like, but we're excited because it's always nice to see like a beautiful sunset.
So that's our plan for right now, and then after that we're gonna go grab some dinner. But yeah, we'll keep you posted. But so far, if we're talking about like, is Santorini worth it, I think we kind of vlogged a little bit of us like walking through the town today. Like, this town area was definitely crowded. A lot of people, like we said, felt like walking through New York City, but I do think that the views are really beautiful and like really different than like the views we've seen on other Greek islands. Like, I think now I've been to 5 Greek islands, and Gabby's been to 4. So I think we kind of get like a good idea of like what they have here. And I think the views here are probably the best out of any of the other islands that we've been to. But what we did notice is that typically, like when you think of a Greek island, you think of like the pebbles on the floor, like the white paint around them. And that's not really here so much. And I guess it's because there's so many people like walking through the streets every day that it might be difficult for them to like upkeep that.
Yeah, like it's very marbly. That's what I would say. Like when you look at some of our clips, it's like very marble and like white and clean and very beautiful. But I think there are really beautiful views. I wouldn't say it's my favorite views anywhere ever.
Right.
Out of all the islands, I would just say like they are incredibly beautiful views. It's totally worth it to come here, and like it's just like an atmosphere over here that is really nice and like fun, and like everybody like just think it's just really beautiful.
There's also seems to be more vegan options here, at least more signs that say there are vegan options, which makes sense because if it's more touristy, they're probably going to cater more to that kind of stuff. Okay, so we just finished up dinner and we went to this place called Paradox. It's actually an Asian restaurant, which we've been typically having Greek food like this whole entire trip, but sometimes it's nice to like switch it up a bit and have like a little bit of a different cuisine. And this restaurant was like really highly rated, and like all the vegan like research I've done, like all the general blogs I've done, it was so good.
It was really delicious. It was just like having something different was good because we've had so much Greek food that we're like doing something a little different is like what we were actually in the mood for right now.
But we wanted to quickly talk about like what it was like actually watching the sunset. So if you saw earlier in the video, like we tried to go to the castle, or like the castle ruins, which everyone says you're supposed to go to for sunset, and we got there at like 6:40, I think. And when we got there, the castle was already packed with people. So we're like, okay, we're not gonna go there. We're like, gonna go somewhere else.
Right away, Shanna and I were like, okay, we can't go there because it's just like, you know, when something's already that crowded and you're like 3 hours from sunset, like it's just not gonna work out.
Yeah, so we just decided to like find a slightly different spot. So we like found a spot like along the wall, but like as the time got closer to sunset, more and more people showed up, and it was like absolutely insane. Like I filmed a bunch of clips, so you probably like already saw how crazy it was.
Yeah, like there were so many people.
I feel like the whole island of tourists was there watching sunset.
Yeah, and the sunset was actually so beautiful. It was a really great sunset, and we have seen a lot of sunsets, but the problem was that like everybody was in front of you, blocking you basically no matter where you were, like filming on their phones, video, like for the whole entirety of the sunset. Like Shanna and I were like, why do you need that many clips of the sunset?
Literally.
Why?
Like we actually do this stuff for work, and like I'm trying to get as little clips as possible so I can actually like enjoy the moment of like watching the sunset with my own eyes. So like I couldn't even see it. Like I tried to like lean over people or like stand up or whatever, and it was just like phones everywhere. Like you literally could not see the sun go down. So when it got like super close to the end, me and Gab were like, we can't even see it. Like we're just gonna like go to dinner.
Yeah, like it's like we saw enough of it, and it was super beautiful.
It was really colorful. Like I definitely get why people
like,
are so excited to watch sunsets here.
A great sunset, but like if you're going to watch the sunset, like take your picture, but then actually watch the sunset
with
like,
your eyes.
The purpose of watching the sunset, and not to hate on it, because like we love taking pictures, we love taking videos of stuff. Obviously, you know that because you're watching one of them. But
there's a moment for doing it and a moment for watching it, and I feel like a lot of people were phones the entire time, like up to an hour before.
You don't need a 3-hour clip of the sunset, like setting in the sky. Like.
So basically, if you're coming during like high tourist season, which is right now, which is like July to like September, I think, for like this island or these islands in general, like be prepared to be surrounded by people while watching the sunset. But I think if you go like kind of during the off season, you probably will be able to watch it a little bit more easily.
And it definitely is worth it.
Yes.
It was a beautiful sunset. We would basically, if it wasn't a good sunset at this point, be like, definitely don't go because it's overcrowded. But it's a great sunset.
Like we tried to leave early, like right before the sun went down, and we had to like wait for like 10 minutes to like, go like walk through people.
Yeah,
so.
Like if you got a good like spot, or like you were sitting at a restaurant that had a view of it, I think that you would be like in the prime spot to be able to actually watch that. Like we saw some people in their like private villas watching the sunset, and Shanna and I were like, well, that's how you watch the sunset.
But anyway, so sunset worth it, just gonna be crowded, so be prepared and do what you need to do and watch it with your eyeballs, not with your phone. And now I think we're gonna just like kind of walk around Ia, because we did it before, but we didn't want to go into like all the shops just yet, because like Greece really comes alive at night. We said this in some other videos, but like after the sunsets, that's when like all the Greek like islands and the country itself just like comes alive. So like we like to like do what the locals do, you know. So we're gonna go back to some of the shops and like walk around.
Yeah, you like have to also go out at night here. It's like it is totally different, and not like in a party way, because like that's not really the vibe that it is either, but it's just in like a, you know, like everything is just alive. Like the streets are lit up, people are shopping, people are eating.
They're drinking coffee, they're drinking, you know, alcohol. They're doing literally anything, just walking around. Like a lot of the shops, they open super late here. The restaurants are open till like midnight or later. Like amazing.
Yeah, so we're gonna go do that right now. Good morning.
So it is the next day in Ia, Santorini now, and we're up at sunrise, so we're up again at 5 a.m. because we're actually doing a photo shoot with Flytographer, and we're really excited because we knew we were coming to Santorini during like the high season, that it would be really busy and it would be really hard for us to like put our tripod up and get any like photos or videos of the two of us. So we were like, why don't we just reach out to Flytographer? We work with them all the time and the photos always come out amazing, so that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, and they're incredible for places like this because it gets so crowded here that we were like, we cannot feasibly take photos ourselves here, and we also don't want to like have a huge hassle. We want to just enjoy ourselves. So Flytographer is literally perfect for that. But as you can see, we're up so early, like that nobody is out at all in this whole area. And you saw how freaking crowded it was for the sunset last night. Shanna and I are like, well, I guess if you want the street to yourself, just come out at 5 a.m.
Like, look, there's no one is here except that we have a little dog friend following us. Hi. There were more following us before, but they stopped at some point.
Now they're done. They're like, this is
oh my god, wait, look at this. This is so pretty.
Oh my god, it's beautiful.
This is stunning.
It is so pretty. The sunrise is equally as beautiful as the sunset. You can tell already. And it's like the sun just started to rise, so it's like barely peeking out.
Finished up our Flytographer shoot with Spiros. It's like 8:20 right now, so we kind of did like 2-ish hours, but we were just like talking because he was such an amazing person. He was telling us so much about the island. It was so awesome.
Yeah, he was so nice, and he just had the most amazing energy, so we just thought it was just such a great experience, and we had so much fun like walking around and going to like all these spots that we actually hadn't seen before when we were walking around yesterday.
Yeah,
which just goes to show you that you can walk around a place and still not see everything. But he was telling us so much about the island.
Yeah, he was actually telling us like that there's like another island like really nearby to Santorini that has a different name, but like 3,000 years ago, like the islands were actually like connected. They were like one island.
But now they're two separate islands.
Two separate islands. And he was also just talking about basically like the over tourism of this area. Like some tourists just like don't respect the island. Basically, they don't treat it right, and we definitely noticed that there's like garbage everywhere. People are not listening to signs that say like private or don't climb or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
and I do think that there's a level that if you are traveling, I mean, we always respect the places that we're going to, and we make sure we don't leave garbage and do things that are bad for the community where you're visiting. And
or
I think,
try to, yeah.
Yeah, or we, you know, we definitely don't just like leave garbage on the floor or do things like that. And I think that it's really important to make sure that if you're watching this video and you're traveling and you want to come to Santorini or anywhere else in honesty, that you respect the place that you're visiting. And you make sure that you keep it clean, take your garbage with you, and dispose of it correctly.
Yes.
And respect other people's properties, you know?
Okay, so we are in a different location now. We went from Ia, which is like kind of like, I guess, the northern part of the island of Santorini, down to Fira, which is like the capital city and the old port, because we're gonna stay here tonight because it was a little bit cheaper and we wanted to like check out this area as well. But we really loved Ia. It was beautiful there, and the hotel we were staying at was amazing. I feel like we mentioned that already yesterday. Now we're in an Airbnb and it's actually really nice. Gabby's sitting on the bed. I'm posting some Instagram stories, so we're catching up.
Catching up, exactly, before we go explore, but this bed is so comfortable. I love it.
So this Airbnb is like really close to like the center of Fira, so right after this we're gonna go walk out and explore, and we're really excited because there's actually like a lot of really good vegan food here. We just went to this place called Falafel Land, and we got like 2 vegan falafel like wraps and stuff, and it was so good. So we're gonna go walk around Fira and explore, but yeah, we really liked Ia a lot. I think like in a general sense, like we get why it's so popular and why so many tourists want to go see it. But at the same time, I do think it was a little too crowded for our liking, but I do think it's like one of those things that you really should do. Like if you're gonna go to Santorini, you definitely should like stay in Ia for one night at least and like just experience it for yourselves. There probably will be a lot of people there, but definitely worth it. So yeah, now we're gonna explore this area and see if we think, you know, it adds to the hype, detracts from the hype, because that's what this video is about, is Santorini worth the hype? So we'll let you know. Okay, so we're kind of in like the main area of Fira right now, and we're on this street that has all of these amazing shops. Like the shopping in Santorini in general has just been really, really good.
Yeah, like it's unreal. Some of the stuff is a little bit expensive, and I think that that's just to be understood because you're somewhere more touristy. So this area still has a lot of people, like more than Shanna and I were expecting. It's still very touristy, even though the street is like a bit more spaced out, so there's a little bit more room. It basically feels as crowded as it did when we were in the other town.
So this is kind of what the shopping street looks like. Just like a bunch of different shops, and you can walk up and down or go down little side alleyways, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, it's nice. We're gonna go walk the rest of it now.
Okay, so we are back at the Airbnb now. We kind of got back a few hours ago, and then we were tired because we obviously woke up at like 5:30 this morning to do that sunrise photo shoot. Oh my God, there's a fly. Get out of here, fly. To do that sunrise photo shoot. So we were a little tired, so we took like a very quick nap. I feel like it was like less than an hour. We liked walking around Fira. It was like really cute. It's very hilly, and there's a lot of steps, so just beware of that.
Yeah, don't wear high heels there or uncomfortable shoes.
And the shopping area was like really nice. It had like a lot of really good shops. But I will say, still a little touristy in that area, which we're kind of shocked about because EO is like way more beautiful and like way more like picturesque. But I feel like people come to Santorini and stay in this area because it is the capital and there is like a lot more restaurants and stuff, but I think it's also cheaper to stay here than to stay in Ia where we were yesterday.
Yeah, which is also why we're here too. It's definitely cheaper to stay over here. And there's still a lot to do in a lot of restaurants, and there's a lot of vegan restaurants in this area, which is really good if you're vegan. You can definitely find tons of food to eat over here. But I don't know, it's interesting because like I felt like there was like a few times where like we were in this area and like a tour bus got out and like let everybody out, and it was like, oh my God, 40 tourists just like taking a million pictures and like looking at the view. But I feel like because this isn't Ia and it's not like the part that people like specifically go to visit to take photos, it's like kind of interesting to see as many tourists over here, even though it is great to walk around and shop too. So
yeah, I think it's still beautiful here. I just think that like Ia is more of the like iconic, like what you think of when you think of Santorini, and the fact that so many people are just like kind of all in this area kind of like shocked us a bit because I feel like it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, like we thought like, oh, when we came to this town, it would probably be a little bit less touristy.
And like more local.
More local, a little less busy, but it still doesn't feel like that. It still doesn't feel like you're in a local area. It still feels like even though we're not in the other area, we're still in a touristy area.
I feel like it's because Santorini in general is just like a really popular place to visit. And I do think it's beautiful, but just beware of tourists when you're coming. Like they are everywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, our photographer that we met this morning was saying that there are areas in Santorini that are still more local areas, but you have to go a little bit further out.
Yeah, more south on the island, he said.
Yeah, so we thought that was interesting. So I guess if you're coming to Santorini and wanting to find some of those like more local areas, take his advice and go more south.
Okay, so unfortunately that is the end of our Santorini video, but I feel like we need to like kind of sum up if we think Santorini is worth the visit or not, because that was the whole point of this video, because I feel like there's so many different videos of like what to do here. They want to do something a little bit different.
So is Santorini worth it? I feel like this is a really complicated question because there are definitely things here that are worth it, but this is 100% a more touristy island. Like if you went to like Milos, which we were just at, for example, I think Milos is amazing and worth it, but if you do not like being in crowds, then no, Santorini is not worth it because everything you do, you're gonna have a lot more people than you would on a different island that is a little bit less popular but equally just as beautiful. But having said that, being in the town Ia is just like super picturesque, super beautiful, and I think going to see that part is 100% worth it. So I think it's still worth it.
Yeah, I think overall, yes, it's worth it, but I think there needs to be some things that you need to have in mind before visiting. Like it's gonna be touristy, things are gonna be more expensive, it's gonna be like an experience, like it's not gonna be like what you see on like Instagram or online most likely. Like your experience probably won't be like that, but it still will be worth it and still be beautiful. However, last year we actually went to the island of Paros, and I think that is probably our favorite Greek island that we've been to so far now, like combined, like I've been to 5 and Gabby's been to 4 islands, and I think that island kind of has like the best of everything. Like it's picturesque, it's beautiful, and it's not really touristy. There's like amazing food and like beaches and mountains. There's like a whole bunch of things to do.
Yeah. Or at least we can say it's not as touristy as Santorini is. Like there's still tourists, but like it's just not as touristy as this.
Yeah. So I think if you're looking for like a similar experience but don't want the touristy aspect, I would say go to Paros. However, I do think Santorini is a place that you need to see once in your life. It's really beautiful, and we've never been anywhere else like it before, so I 100% get why like there's hype around it. Like the hype is deserved. It just kind of depends on what kind of traveler you are.
Yes, and I also think that when things are this touristy, sometimes it like is a little bit of a downfall for a place, because as beautiful as it is, you then have to deal with the tourism and like the over tourism of the place, and sometimes that can take away from the beauty of certain experiences, like seeing a sunset and it being a beautiful sunset, but then people being all over the place, people blocking your view, making
people
it hard
leaving
for you to
trash
actually,
everywhere, like
yeah.
not respecting the land or the locals, things like that. So just keep that in mind when visiting. And I feel like if you book a trip here, you probably will like it, but just beware of all the things we've been saying in this video.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe if you really want to come here and you don't want to deal with some of this, come in the not high season of travel. For example, it is July right now. That means that we are in the high season of summer travel to Greece. So maybe if you come in a different month of the year,
yeah,
you
like
can
in the
deal with
spring
it
or the
less.
fall, I think you'll be perfect. So thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully this video is helpful for you. And if you're going to Santorini or you've been before, comment down below and let us know what you think. Thank you all so much again for watching. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you soon with another video.
Bye.